Late in his career, artist Marc Chagall produced a number of paintings using glass as his medium. One of these paintings, a large 15-foot wall of glass, was created for the United Nations headquarters in New York. Known to most as the Peace Window, the actual title of the piece is The Window of Peace and Human Happiness. At the unveiling ceremony, Chagall urged the audience not to see the window, but to feel it. It was created as a memorial to those who had lost their lives in the cause for peace and contains imagery that symbolizes not only peace, but love, tolerance, faith, and compassion. In reality, Marc Chagall's life was filled with tragic events, and his experiences were really anything but peaceful. In light of this fact, we can see how an artist can choose to share a universal language of healing, inclusion, and encouragement. So the project I'd like to share with you today takes inspiration from the Peace Window. Students can create a small window with floating imagery and Chagall-like colors using their own interpretations of the word peace. So we're going to need to paint some stained glass type pieces first to fill the spaces between the images and to really give it the look of a stained glass window. Take about 10 pieces of tissue paper and cut them down into squares about 5 inches, maybe 6 inches, and then stack them on a plate like this. Let's spritz them with water to get them wet first. Little spritz bottle, and then we're going to use liquid watercolor to add the color to the pieces. Now you could put this in a cup and use a paintbrush or a dropper, and that's probably what I would do, but for my demo today I'm just going to put the color directly from the bottle, and then I'll spritz it again to get it to run. Let's add another color. Here we have some blue-green, more of a teal color. I want it to run all the way to the edges because I want to be able to use every little last bit of this sheet. And you'll notice that I'm selecting colors that I consider peaceful. Violet is my last. And the water will help the paint to go through this entire stack of tissue paper so that all of the 10 sheets are colored at once. Okay, so if we were to allow that to dry, it would take perhaps an hour. You can speed things up a little bit by using a fan or even a hair dryer if you want to, and you will get a variety of dark areas depending on how it layered in the stack, and some that may have been on the bottom will be a little bit lighter. And they might be stuck together, so you'll need to kind of pull them apart and they'll be ready to use. Let's brainstorm some ideas for symbols we might use. What says peace to you? Right away, it would come to mind, say, maybe a peace sign. A dove, perhaps carrying an olive branch, says peace. All right, well, those work, but let's go a little bit deeper and get a little bit more personal with it. What are some of the things, places, or even people that you would describe as peaceful? Maybe a trip to the seashore, perhaps a pet that you would have. Do they make you feel peaceful? Now think about some of the things that you might do so that you could feel at peace. Taking a nap would definitely make me feel peaceful. Perhaps going for a run or getting some exercise. Maybe the opposite of that, going for an ice cream cone. Now we're getting somewhere with this. So drawing on some of these responses and using some more of the cut tissue paper, go ahead and make drawings on the tissue paper using markers. You could also use colored pencils if you like, or crayons, or any drawing media. So cut them out and set them aside. Next, you'll need a laminating pouch, and you can give a laminating pouch. Each student could use one, or you could also cut these in half. Open it up. And now we need to put the images in here, and you can just use a glue stick. So I've already started a laminating pouch here and brought in a couple of things that I'd drawn swinging on a swing or reading a good book. I thought those were very peaceful things for me. And let's go ahead and use a glue stick, just a little bit on a couple of spots in order to tack it into place. It doesn't really matter if it's front or back because the marker is visible from each side. Next, we want to take the pieces that we have created for the stained glass part of it. And these can be torn or cut to fill the spaces in between here. So we can do some small pieces to get around. Again, just a little bit of a glue stick. And then that piece can fit in this area. The variety of having some darker areas and lighter areas is kind of nice. And if you change your mind while the glue stick is still wet, you can always pick up the pieces and move it. You can also bunch, fold, or cut away pieces that hang over so that you can get them to fit. Leave a little bit of space around the edges here and there. That'll just give the laminating pouch places to grab to itself. All right, now I would keep working, bringing in more of these sheets until I've got that entire background around each of my symbols filled. All right, so here I have one that I've filled the entire background, and also the glue has had time to dry. Now it's time to close it. So close the pouch back up and then take a regular household iron, heat it at probably the lowest setting. Mine reads as nylon, perhaps yours reads as polyester, but it's a very, very low setting. Make sure that you have a flat surface beneath it. Instead of doing it all at once, I started from one side and I'm working my way over to the other side, going in some circles like so. It heats the pouch. It's not enough to burn, but it's a good idea to keep your fingers away. All right, and now the pouch is sealed. Now to make the lead lines, because when we think of a stained glass window, we think of the lead lines. They're necessary in the construction of stained glass. So in order to make it look more like a stained glass window, we can take a permanent black marker and draw right on top of the pouch here. So the lead lines would probably go around each shape like this. And then I might want to create the lead lines where I see the pieces of paper. And really you can place them anywhere you feel like they should go. And if you'd like, you can create a frame around the piece by using a ruler and going around all four edges. So let's look at some examples with the light shining through. Just beautiful. Can you imagine an entire window just filled with student images of peace? If you'd like to learn more, go to dickblick.com and view the PDF instruction sheet. We've got a complete materials list for you there and some more example photos.